is Sadie Gibson. I was a student at LaGrange College from 2013 to 2018, where I double majored in English and theater, and I am currently a third year or 3L at the University of Georgia Law School. So definitely you do a lot of writing when you are a law student, and you also are writing about many different topics, many things that you've never really had to write about before. So I would say being able to take a variety of classes that involved different subjects of writing. For instance, I have never been truly interested in journalism, but taking classes on journalism and writing in the style of journalism or doing research on journalism really just helped so much becoming comfortable with writing about things that I was not really familiar with. So being able to take a lot of different writing classes was very helpful going into law school, just because not only was I comfortable with writing, but also comfortable with addressing topics that I'd never done before. Especially, I'd say one of the best writing classes or best writing experiences that I had was taking Dr. Torres's comparative politics class my last year. It was the first and only political science class I took, but I had to write a huge paper for that class on topics that I'd never really researched and in a citation style that I had never used. So it was extremely stressful to not only try to research something that I'd never researched before, but also convert a style of citation that I was used to into a completely new style. But it was so helpful because in law school, I had to do the exact same thing. The blue book style is not something that regular writers use. It's only something that lawyers use. So that's something I'm really glad I was able to experience before I went to law school. And then with theater, I would say that's been very helpful because you have to do a lot of speaking in law school. And if you're not comfortable with that, it can be very hard to break into that. You will be in an auditorium with 60 other students, and a professor will call on you. And not only do you have to answer his or her questions with confidence, or you have to admit that you're not confident in your answers, but you have to be able to speak loud enough so that everybody can hear. And so being in the theater has helped you, learn how to project your voice and how to speak with confidence and how to be able to cope when your teacher yells at you to speak louder. So those two experiences have been very helpful. And then I would also say theater, learning to act, has been very helpful just because you have to do a lot of oral argument, and you have to go through tryouts for mock trial and moot court and negotiations, and just having a background in theater and knowing okay, I'm coming into this and I'm not going to be scared because I'm putting on this persona of this lawyer, I'm putting on this character, and I'm arguing this point whether I agree with it or not. And it's just it's a very good mindset and a very good set of skills to have. And I'm very grateful to have learned that. So when you are a 1L, your classes are picked out for you. You are going to take all the traditional first year classes, and you'll be taking about 16 hours. So you'll have a research class, a writing class, and then a tort civil procedure and a contracts class or a constitutional law class. And you are going to have a very, very busy day because for each of those classes, there's going to be several pages of reading. And before law school, you could probably read your assignments thoroughly about once or twice, make some notes. But for law school, you have to read them several times and take extensive notes. And so you have to be able to set aside time during your day, in between classes, before your classes, after your classes, to review all of your assignments and to, go back, catch things that you didn't catch before. And so a typical day is you get up, if you're going to work out or do your hobby or something like that, either do that in the morning or save that for the late afternoon. But all of your time before or in between or after classes needs to be set aside for your, your preparation. It's very busy. You're expected to have, like at least you're kind of, it's kind of like you're an employee. You're working, you know, your day starts at 9 and it doesn't really end until 5 or 6, and during exams it can be even longer, just because you are expected to put in so much work for each class, just so you are absolutely thoroughly prepared. As a 2L and 3L, you get to customize your schedule a little more. You do have certain required classes, like you'll have to take an ethics class, and you have another writing class that you'll have to take. But by that point, you can start taking classes that are more tailored to the type of law that you want to do or that you think you want to do. And so you can lighten your load a little bit. You can take 12, 13 hours. But I mean, you're still going to be expected to put in the same amount of work. And if you were on a journal, you're going to be doing even more writing, and you'll be expected to be writing for, you know, doing citation checks for other people's articles, as well as attending meetings with your journal. If you're on an advocacy team, then you may have practices for an upcoming competition or tryouts. So you'll have even more stuff on top of you, on top of your expected workload. But throughout the school year, though, there are going to be lots of meetings at either lunchtime or after classes where it's just talking about, here's this area of law. If you're interested, you know, we'll talk about it. Or here's a round table of professors who have, you know, come from these backgrounds. Or here are these lawyers from Atlanta who are going to talk about their experiences. So even though it is very busy, you know, just filling your mind with all the different assignments that you have, and doing lots of work, there's also different opportunities throughout the day to just take a break and learn something new, or sit with some friends and enjoy lunch while hearing from professors or hearing from other students or hearing from organizations that you'd like to join. Before you graduate, take a class that you know nothing about. Take a class, whether you are, you know, if you've been solely up on the hill and you've never done anything with theater or music, take it, because it'll teach you something about either speaking or having confidence or being put on the spot. If you haven't really taken any English classes and you don't really do much writing, take a writing class. If you just take a class that you know nothing about, so that way you can learn what it's like to be put on the spot, what it's like to be dealing with material that you don't know anything about, or what it's like to write in a citation format that you've never used before, because it will help you so much when you're put on the spot in class, or when you're given a writing assignment and you have no idea how to do the citation properly. I would say that is extremely helpful when going into law school, just to have that experience of just having your face all red and flushed, not knowing what you're supposed to be doing, not feeling like you belong or that you are in the right area, and then just being able to get through that, being able to persevere and take that class and finish it, knowing that you had no idea what you were doing when you first started.